why are you selling hats that say Trump 2028? That is not downplaying a violation of U.S. law run for a third term. When is the media gonna learn? When is mainstream corporate media gonna learn that bending the knee and softening the approach and just writing downright false headlines or video titles isn't gonna put you in good graces with the dear leader? Donald Trump doesn't give a shit about you. He doesn't care about your well-being. He doesn't care about your job. He doesn't care about your constitutional protections at all. So why would NBC News title this Kristen Welker interview with Donald Trump yesterday as such? Full interview. President Trump says he'll be a two-term president, downplays third-term talk. Because, yeah, he did downplay it in some of what he said, but in other things that he said, he ignored the question that was asked. And they insist on giving Donald Trump the benefit of the doubt. Someone who does not deserve it has not earned the benefit. If anything, we could say, well, it's not that he hasn't earned it, it's that we gave him the benefit of the doubt and he blew it. So no longer fool me once, shame on you, fool me twice, shame on me, kind of a deal, right? Or however George W. Bush said at that time. So I'm going to play this clip, and I want you to keep in mind that video title, that video headline that I just gave you, that Donald Trump downplays third-term talk. Keep in mind he does that, but also, it's a yes-and situation here. Watch this, and then we'll discuss the constitutional prohibitions in multiple amendments to one of the plans that Donald Trump talks about.
Let me ask you, because we're nearing the end, just a couple more questions here.
I'm not complaining. You keep saying to me like I'm rushing.
No, you're not, and I really appreciate it.
I don't want to
really
rush you. I don't want to make you nervous.
Thank you. The Trump Organization is selling hats that say Trump 2028.
Yeah.
Are you seriously considering a third term, Mr. President, even though it's prohibited by the Constitution, or is this about staying politically viable?
I will say this. So many people want me to do it. Mm-hmm. I have never had requests so strong as that. But it's something that, to the best of my knowledge, you're not allowed to do. Mm-hmm. I don't know if that's constitutional that they're not allowing you to do it or anything else, but there are many people selling the 2028 hat. But this is not something I'm looking to do. I'm looking to have 4 great years and turn it over to somebody, ideally a great Republican, to carry it forward. But I think we're going to have 4 years, and I think 4 years is plenty of time to do something really spectacular.
The Constitution does prohibit it. Some of your allies are pretty serious about this, though, Mr. President. I've spoken to them. They say they are coming up with potential ways. Well, obviously, the biggest one would be a constitutional amendment.
That's because they like the job I'm doing, and it's a compliment. It's really a great compliment.
Has anyone approached you, though, with an actual plan, a way to actually start the process
of a constitutional amendment? There are ways of doing it, and you know the same thing. And if you look at the vice presidential thing and you hear different concepts and different, other people say you can have a write-in vote. There's lots of different things. With all of that being said, I want to be a great president. I will have served. Hopefully, everything will go well. I feel very good. I just did a physical. I took, unlike all other presidents, I took cognitive tests and I aced it. I got 100% correct. And one doctor said, there were numerous doctors watching. And he said, I've never seen that before. Biden didn't take a cognitive. He couldn't have gotten the first question right. But I came out great with the physical, both physically and mentally. And I just want to serve, do a great job. I'll be an 8-year president. I'll be a 2-term president. I always thought that was very important, to be honest with you. You know, if you look at President Polk, he was a 1-termer and he did some great things, actually. A pretty good president. And I'm not saying you can't do that, but there's something about being a 2-term president that was very important to me.
And just to put a button on it, has anyone in an official capacity presented you with, sir, here are some ideas by which you could actually get a constitutional amendment?
Well, in a capacity of being a big supporter, many people have said different things, but I'm not looking at that.
You haven't had official meetings about it?
No. And just so you said, 4 years is a long time. I have almost 4 years. All of these things that we've done more than any president, and even you might admit that. Nobody's done the extent of the things that we've done. Nobody's done this in essentially a little bit more than 3 months. As they say, 100 days. I'm looking to do a great job as president and set the country on the right track, because if I didn't win, this country would have failed. We would have been a failed nation.
He never really does go back to her, and she doesn't hold his feet to the fire on the why are you selling hats that say Trump 2028? That is not downplaying an unconstitutional, an anti-constitutional, a violation of U.S. law run for a third term. When you're selling hats, promoting the idea, and then he says, well, many people are selling the hat. Many people are. You're selling them, Donald Trump. You are selling them. You are working your cult into a frenzy, lathering them up about your third term prospects. And then he even floats the idea of there's the vice presidential thing. What he means is J.D. Vance would run for president and Donald Trump would run as vice president. And then as soon as he got into office, if J.D. Vance were to win, he would hand over power to Donald Trump to be a president for a third term. This is also ridiculous. This is also unconstitutional. Of course, you know that the 22nd Amendment to the United States Constitution prohibits a third term. So they think, oh, this is a workaround. And the same people who act like they have any understanding of the contents of this document that undergirds the rule of law in this country, that's the foundational principles of our country and our laws, the Constitution, they, pull it out. Oh, it's all tattered. Look, I read this all the time. This is why it's so worn out. This is what they do. 22nd Amendment, I've already read to you before. I'll do it again real quick. No person shall be elected to the office of the president more than twice, and no person who has held the office of president or acted as president for more than 2 years of a term to which some other person was elected shall be elected to the office of president more than once. Okay, right? Well, the vice presidential plan is also unconstitutional based on the 12th Amendment of the Constitution. The 12th Amendment, another amendment just as important as the first, or the Second Amendment, or the Third Amendment that no one ever talks about because it's about quartering troops. This is the 12th Amendment to the United States Constitution. At the very end, it gives this is changing, this altered how we elect presidents in this country, the Second Amendment. So this is the very last sentence of the 12th Amendment. And maybe that's why they don't understand it. They don't remember it, because it took a lot of time to read this whole several words, maybe 2 paragraphs. And this is the final sentence of that. But no person constitutionally ineligible to the office of president shall be eligible to that of vice president of the United States. So Donald Trump, who is prohibited to run for a third term, he cannot run for president for a third term, 22nd Amendment. The 12th Amendment says he can't even be on the ticket as vice president because he's not eligible to be president. Yet, Steve Bannon forcefully saying Donald Trump will be on the ballot. He will be president again on January 20th, 2029. He has been saying this. Donald Trump is floating this idea. Andy Ogles from Tennessee is putting forth a constitutional amendment, which is the other element of this, to allow him to run for a third term, to be president for a third term. Not to mention the fact that he'll be well into his 80s. He's already a cognitive weakling. He's already an unabled man, person, woman, camera, TV. He's already just drifting away. Can you imagine can you imagine what it's going to be like in 6 months, let alone 7 years? When he would be president into that deep of a term. It is just abject, a failure on the part of the Republican Party to stand for the document they claim to revere, a failure on the part of mainstream media to bend the knee to Donald Trump and try to paint this. A lot of people wouldn't watch the full interview. They're not even going to get to this part of it. So they'll see the headline, they'll see the video title that Donald Trump says he'll be a 2-term president and downplays third term talk. What part of that was downplaying it? When you give both answers in one answer, it's not downplaying. You're focusing on the thing you want to focus on for your video title. NBC, Kristen Welker, failures, everyone. What do you think? I would appreciate your feedback on this. You can comment below, right in the comment section on this video. You can also call the voicemail line, 714-576-4054. And of course, as always, you can email me daily at dollemore.com. Please consider supporting this work. You can become a channel member right here. Click the join button below for $2 a month. Help me produce these videos. You can also go over to patreon.com/IDoubtIt podcast. Those two things are great ways to help support this work. $2 a month. I would appreciate it. I'll see you next time. Maybe I'll see you on social media where I am at Dollemore. And I will see you next time. Be genuine. Give more respect to the document, Republicans. And take care of one another.